guys and a girl are sitting at a baseball game together. And the guys are freaking out because the girl knows just as much about the game as the boys do. Impressed, they asked her, "How do you know so much about baseball?" She said, "Well, I used to be a guy. I had a sex change." They're like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what was the most painful part about that? Was it when they cut off your dick?" She said, "Oh, no, that was painful, but that wasn't the most painful part." "Well, was it when they cut off your nuts?" She's like, "No, that was painful, but still not the most painful part." Curious, they asked her, "Well, what the hell was the most painful part?" And she says, "When they cut my fucking salary in half."
Do you know any drag queen jokes?
Yeah, taking beauty tips from Bianca Del Rio. How does a blonde turn on a light after having sex? She opens the car door. What is the first thing a blonde's father tells her before she goes out on a date? "If you're not in bed by 11, come home." What's the first thing a blonde does in the morning? She goes home. Did you hear about the blonde who got fired from the M&M factory? She threw away all the W's. Get it? How does a blonde practice safe sex? She uses a padded headboard. What's red and has 7 dents? Snow White's cherry. Okay. A man goes into a whorehouse and he says, "I like it rough." She's like, "Well, we got a girl. We call her Sandpaper Sally because she's so rough." He's like, "Ooh, that sounds interesting." And the madam says, "Go up to room 38 and you'll find her there." And the man goes up to room 38 and he finds a beautiful woman laying on the bed. So he gets undressed and he starts screwing her. And he's screwing her for a second. He's like, "Ow! Ow, that hurts. God, it feels like a fucking sandpaper in there." "Oh, honey, when I said I want it rough, that is not what I meant." He's like, "Can't you do anything about that?" She's like, "Fine." She goes in the bathroom. She comes out about 5 minutes later, and he starts screwing her again. He's like, "Oh, wow. It's so warm. It's so wet. Oh, my gosh. That's so good. What did you do?" She said, "Nothing. I just picked out the scabs. Now you're running on pus." There was a blonde who got lost in the middle of a snowstorm, and she remembered, surprisingly, what her dad told her to do. He said, "Follow a snowplow." So she saw the snowplow and she started to follow it. She followed it for about 45 minutes, and then the driver finally got out of the truck and said, "What are you doing?" And the blonde says, "Well, my dad told me if I got lost in a snowstorm to follow a snowplow." He's like, "Well, I'm done with Walmart. You want to follow me over to Kmart now?" Why do men fart more than women? Because women won't shut up long enough to build up pressure. Two fags. Yes, I could say that word. Two fags are sitting on a couch. One of them is masturbating into a condom, and the other one says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Nothing. I'm just packing a lunch for later." Why do cavemen drag their women around by the hair? Because if you drag them around by the feet, they fill up with dirt. Two fags are in the shower, and the one has to go to the bathroom. So he tells his lover, "Whatever you do, don't come until I get back." He's like, "All right, fine, I won't. Don't worry about it." So the one goes to the bathroom, and he comes back, and there's cum all over the wall. He said, "I thought I told you not to come until I got back." He said, "I didn't. I just farted." What's the difference between your paycheck and your dick? You don't have to beg your lover to blow your paycheck. Two lesbians are going from Chicago to Florida together. And two fags are going from Chicago to Florida together. Who gets there first? The lesbians, of course. They're doing 69 the whole way while the homos are still backpacking each other's shit. Cowboy rides his horse up to a saloon, gets off his horse, ties him up, goes around to the back, and kisses him right smack in the asshole. True. He walks into the bar, asks for a drink. The bartender gives him a drink and said, "Mind if I ask you why you kissed your horse right smack in the asshole?" The cowboy goes, "Chapped lips." "Does the manure help you with your chapped lips?" "No, but it sure keeps me from licking them." How is a woman like a laxative? They both irritate the shit out of you. Have you seen the movie Constipation? Oh, that's right. It hasn't come out yet. Question. If Apple made a car, would it have windows? Get it? Apple, Windows, Windows, Apple. Hey, I didn't say they were all going to be winners now, did I? I walked into Latrice Royale's bedroom the other day and I tripped over her bra. It was a booby trap. I was sitting there watching my dog chase its tail the other day, and I sat there and I thought, oh my gosh, dogs are so easily amused. And then I realized I was sitting there watching my dog chase his tail. What does that tell you? Two women were having lunch together and discussing the merits of cosmetic surgery. The first woman says, "I need to be honest with you. I'm getting a boob job." The second one says, "Oh, that's nothing. I'm thinking of having my asshole bleached." And the first one says, "Wow, I just can't picture your husband as a blonde." I got some breaking news for you. Today I have been sober for 100 days. Not 100 days in a row, mind you. The other night, I thought I was at a Nicki Minaj concert for about 20 minutes. Then I realized it was just a homeless man yelling at a pigeon. A man was out shopping and discovers a new brand of Olympic condoms. Clearly impressed, he buys a pack. Upon getting home, he announces to his wife the purchase he just made. Olympic condoms? What makes them so special? Well, there's 3 colors: gold, silver, and bronze. What color are you going to wear tonight? Gold, of course, says the man proudly. And the wife says, why don't you wear silver? It would be nice if you came second for a change. My lover, my lover. My lover walked in on me the other day while I was using a hairdryer to dry myself down there. He asked what I was doing, so I told him I was heating his dinner. My lover, darling, comes up and says to me, "I shaved my private parts for you." You know what that means? Yeah, the fucking drain is clogged again. A doctor walked into a bank. Preparing to endorse a check, he pulled out a rectal thermometer out of his shirt pocket and tried to write with it. Realizing his mistake, he looked at the thermometer with annoyance and said, "Well, that's just great. Some asshole's got my pen." My friend's boss propositioned her the other day. Now, she's married, so the proposition kind of came as a weird thing to her. But her boss said, "If you bend over, I'm going to put $1,000 on the floor. And when you bend over to pick it up, I'm going to screw you in the ass until you got it picked up." And she's like, "But that'll only take a second." She's like, I don't know. I better call my husband and ask him." So she calls her husband. Her husband says, "Tell him to make it 2,000 and he's got a deal." So she tells her boss, "Okay, if you throw $2,000 on the floor, when I bend over to pick it up, you can screw me in the ass, and then you're done. Deal?" The boss is like, "Sure, deal." Her husband gets worried, and he calls her about a half hour later, and he says, "What's going on?" She says, "He threw it all in quarters." A man and his wife have just purchased a new computer, and they are trying to put a new password in for it, so the man types in "my penis." Well, the wife ends up on the floor laughing her ass off because the computer said "not long enough." Well, we have been having a very wicked winter this year. Deep freezing. I mean, it was so cold, I saw a gangsta pull up his pants. Two ladies of the evening, you know, prostitutes, are standing on the street corner, you know, where they work. And one of them says, "Ooh, it's going to be a good night. I smell men in the air." The other one goes, "Nah, I just burped." My mom dresses up as my dad. My dad dresses up as my mom. They're transparent. A mother walks into her daughter's room with a condom in her hand. And she says to her daughter, "Are you sexually active?" And the daughter replies, "No, I just lay there." You know, they should make condoms come in packages of 1, 3, and 12. One for those teenage boys who just might get lucky on a Saturday night. 3 for those college boys, one for Friday, one for Saturday, and one for Sunday. And a 12 pack for married men. One for January, one for February, one for March, April, May, June, July. Did you know there's 3 stages of sex in marriage? There's the first stage when the couple first meets and it's fucking on the kitchen table, on the floor, in the back seat of the car, fucking everywhere, all the time. The second stage of fucking in marriage is, once a week behind closed doors because there's kids around and they may not be asleep. And then there's the third stage of sex in marriage, when the kids are grown, years later. They walk down the hall, pass each other, and just go, "Fuck you." A young man finally gets the courage to come out to his mother. She happens to be in the kitchen cooking, and he walks in, being brave, and he says, "Mom, I wanted to let you know that I'm gay." And she looks a little puzzled, and she stops for a second, thinks, and then she asks him, "Does that mean that you put other men's penises in your mouth?" He says, "Yeah." Immediately, she takes her big wooden spoon, cracks him upside the head, and says, "Don't you ever fucking complain about my cooking again." Breaking news, breaking news. Justin Bieber said he's going to retire from the music industry. When did he start? A gay guy walks into the doctor's office. He takes off his clothes for his examination. When he takes his clothes off, the doctor sees a nicoderm patch at the end of his penis. The doctor says, "That's interesting. Does it work?" The guy says, "Sure it does. I haven't had a butt in 3 weeks."